You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Ladies and gents, this is Kevin Kierstead, host of Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap. I hope you're enjoying the show. Truth on Tap is focused on bringing you absolute truth about everything from mainstream media to comedy, from psychology to the paranormal. This show keeps it real, not the fake kind of real, the real kind of real. That same spirit also covers our Caps on Tap show about the Washington Capitals. Caps on Tap shows air only after Capitals wins at this time. Please come like our Facebook page and join the conversation at facebook.com/Truth on Tap show. Truth on Tap has been picked up and promoted by iHeartRadio, the internet audio mega monster, so shows are available there as well as on Spreaker and a limited selection on iTunes. To get in on a show's chat, you can chat from the Facebook page I mentioned or go to www.spreaker.com/user/truth-on-tap and look for the live episode or call in at 910-NO-LYING. That's 910-665-9464. Thanks again for checking out Truth on Tap and Caps on Tap.
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead. You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
Opening up the truth pipeline for these bitches.
Truth on Tap. Truth.
My right to say how I say it's mine to give. My heart is mine to share. My soul's my heart.
Truth on Tap.
Invite to use. Just to be shared to use. You can call it chop it up and recombine. Chop it up and
Truth on
recombine.
Tap.
Truth on Tap is the show. Kevin Kierstead's the host. I got no plan today. Gonna get as stupid as possible. Let me give you a bit of an intro. So here's what just happened. This is just proof that I can't plan things like this. Have you ever had to take an obligatory shit? It's not like you want to leave your mark somewhere. I'm not talking about when you go to a famous hotel and you want to remember, I took a shit in a famous hotel. You know, you couldn't afford to stay there, but you were there for a luncheon with your company. Hey, I took a shit at the Waldorf Astoria. Yay. No, I would never do that. That's not something I could feel pride after doing. But I'm talking about the nature of a shit where you're trying to avoid having to go during a show, during an event. Maybe you're getting ready to go to work. So you don't have to take one, but you do it so you won't have to while you're planning on being somewhere else, doing something else. Had a stomach bug for the past 5 days. Yeah, well, I'll talk about anything. I don't care. I don't care. This stomach bug has been a beast. It hasn't had the nausea with it. Thankful for that. Had a little bit at the beginning. Just a little. It was no real nausea. But the stomach cramping and the frequent visits and the getting up all night to go be the king again, those things did continue. They did continue. And I got to thinking somebody else at some point in the past must have gone through this before. And I was wondering, how could I possibly find out if this has happened to anybody and maybe have them on the show? But instead of talking to people as far as guests go about poo-poo, I found something even better. I want you to just have a quick listen right here with me. Yeah, here it goes. I'm rocking it. Here it goes.
I have a bad case of diarrhea.
Diarrhea. My stomach's crampy. It's really runny. I gotta go again. Yeah, I'm singing it. I made this shit up. What do you have?
I have a bad case of diarrhea.
That's what you have. Is it really runny? You gotta poo. Yeah, and better than the Macarena bitches, I have a bad case of the diarrhea. That hasn't really been the problem with me, really. It's really just been having to go frequently. There's a difference. But then when I'm not the kind of person who would analyze his feces for fiber. There are old people that love to do that shit. I'm telling you the truth. I will never do that. I don't care if a midget falls out of my ass. I'm not going to look after it, okay? However, when you look down before you're able to fully flush, and it looks like a rainforest has emerged from your ass and made its way into the toilet, you can't help but be concerned. I don't know what's going on. I'm 41. Is this a new thing? Is this where you go? And nobody told me that they were going to be... Hopefully this is just the product of a bug. That's all I can say. I haven't had anything extraordinary to eat, and it doesn't make sense to me. It's a weird bug. It's a persistent bug, but a low-key bug. At least now that I'm popping these frickin' kaopectate pills, like I'm Pac-Man on power pellets, maybe that's what'll end up killing me. Too many kaopectate pills like Pac-Man power pellets, and that's going to be the ending. But at least I won't have to shit anymore. They say that your hair and your fingernails continue to grow after you die. I wonder if you still shit. Just little, because the nerve endings could still be doing some stuff. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. And maybe they're processing food through your system. I don't know. Yeah, it's just that feeling in the middle of your stomach like you got punched about 10 minutes ago. You know that feeling. That's how it feels all the time with this thing. It's just nerve-wracking. And I have a friend named Claudia who's probably not listening to this right now. Probably not listening to this. And she would love this show. I'm going to have to send her to it. And her and I have something in common now that we did not have in common in the past. I'll tell you what it is. How much can I say about her without getting in trouble? Let's just say that she did, in fact, have to have a certain natural act out in the outdoors that was rather sudden, and she had not planned for it, and there were no facilities available with which to participate in the modern day form of fecal distribution into something made of porcelain. I had always had some pride. I don't know why. It's a terrible pride to have that I've never had to shit outside. Well, at least before last year. So one morning, a few months back, I get up. My girlfriend and my stepdaughter are doing their thing. So they've got the bathroom. One thing, if you're a guy in a house with one bathroom, you got to have backup plans. And I did not have a backup plan, okay? I didn't know what to do. I had to go. There was no question about that, and I was not going to ask one or either of them to come out of the bathroom. So I can give you 3 guesses on what I did, but you only need one. No, I didn't stand in the middle of the kitchen and shit myself. I mean, I've got more reactive prowess than that. But we do have an attached garage, attached, just by the roof pretty much, because there's a breezeway there. And I went out behind the house, and have you ever heard of the electric chair? They make you do it in basic training, where you just you squat with your back against the wall, but you have nothing under you, so it looks like a chair. But you get so tired after a while, your body starts shaking. They call it the electric chair. I use the electric chair. I had to be regular within the confines of the electric chair, and so it was a bit of a shaky shit. And let me tell you something, man. What was that movie with Ringo Starr in it about cavemen? Was it just called Caveman? And they found this big pile of dinosaur shit. That's what was out there. That's what was out there. I had given birth to a 12-pound, 6-ounce brown baby boy named Glump. And I could not believe it. I felt so much better after that. I was so light. I could walk on my tippy toes. And I'm a cripple. It was beautiful. It was like an exorcism, I had to force the demon out of my ass. It was implanted there, probably by aliens. I got the demon out. Everybody was happy. I was lighter. If my if my joints were healthy, then being that much lighter, I could have been an excellent tennis star or ballerina, the way I see it. Because I had that lightness about me. You have to have a certain fleet of foot that you do not have when you're carrying around a 12-pound baby brown boy in your belly that needs to come on out. And maybe I accidentally took a sip of holy water or something the night before, because it came out with force. Like, it was mad at me, you know. And like I did something wrong. I was just sleeping. All I did was sleep. And the next thing I know, I'm in the electric chair, fertilizing the yard. Not a happy time. So my girlfriend comes walking out. She thinks this is completely abnormal. And it is, but she doesn't know what's going on yet. She just knows that I got up and walked outside. That's not normal. That's not my routine. I get up, I get coffee. I got up, grabbed a wad full of paper towels and walked out the thing. And she didn't see that. She just knows that I got up and walked out the door. So she comes walking outside and almost comes all the way around to where I am. I said, "Stop. You don't want to come out here and see this." "What's wrong?" My stomach had to go. "Oh, yep. Had to get the demon out. The demon was in my ass. Had to get him out. I'm pure again. I was pure after that. I had holy thoughts. You know, I felt this sort of a reconciliation of my spirit with the afterlife. It was really beautiful, and I was hearing a kind of a sound, just a cleansing sound. It was, I'm now absent, the turd boy. The turd boy demon has found his home in my backyard, and I am now free. Yeah, it was something like that. Something like that. Playing with some new sound effects today. Didn't really have that planned, the sequence that I've gone here, but there it goes, you know. That's the way it goes. No real plan. Drinking some coffee in a weird way. I'm dealing with the sickness. I'm drinking coffee and I shouldn't be with my stomach the way it is. We're getting ready to eat dinner. I wanted to go on a scooter ride. My girlfriend and her daughter want to take a walk. There's a threatening thunderstorm that's going to be like one of those 1-hour deals. So everything is in a state of flux right now. We don't know what's going on. All I know is pork chops, and that's probably going to hurt me. Some days you just have to do a radio show and you don't know why. Have you ever had those days? You wake up, you're looking around for broadcasting equipment. You want to know what your demographic is doing right at that moment in time. I wonder if they're getting ready for work, or did they just get home? Are they ready for dinner? And you have to do it. You just have to do it. Thank you, Internet, for that, because I wouldn't have a radio show if it weren't for the Internet. And if I were offered a terrestrial radio show position, I'd probably reject it, because I get fired the first fucking day for saying shit like I just said. Gotta love freedom, man. I like to illustrate every day in some way to people that may be looking at my life for any reason how freedom feels and how you can use it. Freedom's not guaranteed to anybody, and yet it is a fundamental principle of what our country has to offer. Certain kind of freedom. You know, you can feel the constriction of some of these ropes around your neck when it comes to social behaviors, and you can't run down the street naked, but you used to be able to, and you know, there's certain, and it tends to me to be something that is a result of population booms. Population explosions. The more people you have in a condensed area, the more the laws come in, because they got to protect everybody from everybody else. It gets ridiculous. Northern Virginia, a couple years back, well, about 5 years ago, I was working up there at the time, in D.C. pretty much, D.C. in the outskirts. And a man got arrested because he was in his own apartment naked, and a kid, a 5th grader, I think, walked past his apartment and saw him naked inside his apartment. And I began to think, we really do live in a different world when we go to the city. You know, okay, I guess. Shame on him, I guess. I don't know. It just feels natural to me to say you, human, should be able to walk about your apartment naked. But I guess the catch there is close the blinds. Can you do that? There was no reason to be exposed unless you were trying to be seen. And I guess that's what the court brought against him. I don't know if he was found guilty or not. Freedom is malleable, and it is also subject to perception. So I don't like people that just claim we have all the freedoms in the world here. This country's free, man, yeah. Is it really free? I want you to walk up to a cop right now and yank out some of his nostril hair and tell him you're trying to help clear his breathing passages. You're free. Go ahead and do it. So freedoms are limited. The difference is that you'd get a phone call and you'd get representation in this country, and you don't in a lot. That's the difference. That's enough about the serious shit. We might go back to the funny shit now. See what that's going to be all about. I'm not going to be on too long tonight because pork chops are coming. I don't know how else to say it. And there's really no further motivation for me getting done with this quickly than that. Let's see if any of you crackerjack asshead meth smoking motherfuckers are in chat. You are not. And maybe it's because I don't present an appealing, attractive environment to come into. You feel like maybe you'll end up as mincemeat or something. It's nothing personal, and I don't attack people. Listen to some of my shows where I've had guests. I'm very nice to them, unless someone's an asshole. I've been looking for assholes, though. I've been looking for people who bother me. I guess because I feel like I need to show the people that bother to take the time to listen to this show, I need to show them that Captain Nice can be Captain Ass if presented with other Captain Asses. And I'm the same way about being alpha male. I'm not an alpha male. When I get around another alpha male, I get alpha. And I'm doing two things there. I'm going, first, I will not be bossed or ruled, even in a small, subtle social way. And number two, you need to know that, so I'm going to have to show you a little bit of your own medicine, alpha dog. I'll be alpha all up in this thing. You'll be alpha, but I'll just be Al. I don't even need the fa. That means I come before you. You can look at it if you alphabetize. I'm Al. You may be alpha, but I'm Al. I'm before you. I'm on top. And I don't like to be around alpha males because I don't like confrontation. And you have to establish your position when you're around an alpha male to say, you might come around here thinking you're going to boss shit, but let me make sure you know right now that you need to exclude me from that group. That's the first thing. I'm not that man that you're going to tell what to do, or you're going to subtly, even if you do it in a very subtle, covert method, try to lead me to a certain way of behavior through leadership that is imposed. I don't like it. Don't like it. Got a problem with authority. No idea why. I think it's because as a kid I was always so free. You know, get on the bike at 6 a.m. and gone until 6 p.m. in the summers. It was just, you know, as soon as anybody comes around trying to steer shit, I just walk up and say, I'm not in that car. You understand that? You could steer. You can run it right into a tree, but I'm driving that way. I'm driving around the corner to your grandma's house, and I may just throw a whoopee cushion filled with Vaseline at her, because that's the kind of freedom I like to illustrate with. It has to be that obscure in order to demonstrate freedoms. So, yeah, that's what I'm talking about today. What else do we got here? I was thinking about what happens when there are a couple of things that have been on my mind lately. One is when people promise you something. I mentioned this a week or two ago, so it's not necessarily about recent issues, but it does apply to recent issues. I mentioned that promises are no longer real, not in America. Promises now seem to me to be something like a bit of a motivational injection that a person gives himself in front of you in hopes that what he's saying will somehow confine him to the promise, to the act that he's telling you he's going to commit. And I'm not here to preach about keeping your promises. I haven't kept all of my promises. But I think we need to recognize that since about 1950, when someone says, I promise you something, it means shit. I mean, you might know somebody who always keeps their promises. In that case, you've got a hardcore promise keeper there. One of the real gems of human nature when they do what they say and say what they do. But more and more lately, I've heard people promising things and then just not do it. And I'm thinking, especially when the promise comes out of an unnecessary area. You didn't even have to come promise me this. But now you've promised it to me, and it's like you forgot. And I don't know why, but that bothers me. You know what it is? It's the same thing I talked about last show with expectation. most disappointment is because of your expectation. Your expectations aren't met. And one way to get around that is just don't have expectations. I'm working on that myself. Because if you're like me, it bothers you when you have an expectation that isn't met. If it's somebody you're supposed to meet at 5 o'clock, you might be okay if they're late, up to 5:15 or so. But if they don't show up till 6 o'clock, you're pissed off. You just sat there for an hour waiting for somebody that disrespected you enough to not even show up within a half hour of the time they said they'd be there, or not even call you or text you or anything. That's where the world's going, man. At least America, there's no value in promise anymore. No value. I don't like to be promised beautiful, great things and then just find out it was almost a whimsical hope that came from someone. But I'm going to be better with that soon, because I am working on not believing you. I'm sorry, I have to say that to people now. I mean, I may not come out and say it, but everybody listening to this, if you know me personally, and you come up to me and you say, I think that I won 2 tickets to a Caribbean cruise and I don't want to go, I'm giving them to you. I'll say, that's awesome, man. Yeah, we'll use them. What I'm thinking is bullshit. I'll believe that shit when it's in my hands and we're on the ship and there were no catches. That's when I'll believe it. So that's what life has taught me. Stop believing in promises. Stop believing in people trying to make you think that you're getting something that they don't know if they're going to be able to give you. And even in that new attitude that I'm developing, I'm also developing in myself a new wariness of promising anyone anything. Because I've broken my share of promises, and I don't like doing that. It feels bad to me. So I'm just not promising anybody anything anymore. Fuck it. I can't. I don't know if I'll do it. You know, it's nothing personal. I just don't know if I'll do it. I might think I will. And that's what I'll say. I think I might do this. But I'll make sure to get those, operative words in there with emphasis so that you know that it's not a guarantee. I don't guarantee shit to anybody anymore over anything. That's all. Because I don't like to be disappointed myself, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't know. Sometimes you need to hear that. That's really what brings it. Oh, Jesus Christ. You ever be sitting in an office environment when it's really quiet? You might hear a printer running somewhere way back in the back, but for the most part it's very quiet, and you let a loud one go like that. Now you cannot disguise that. If that happens just like that, you might. Here's an idea. I got an idea. I'm going to help save you. So you're sitting in an interview room. You're waiting for an interview. You thought it was going to be a small fart. You thought it was going to be what I'll call a pebble fart. Pebble, 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 just pebble. That's what it would sound like, but almost like a mosquito whispering it. Pebble. And then, but that comes out. Okay, all you got to do is quickly raise your hands to your nose. It'll look like you just blew your nose. You might get away with it. I'm trying to help you here. You might get away with that, and you may still get the job. But if you do that, and then you're all proud of it, and the secretary looks up, and you're kind of like, the Chewbacca, very pleased with yourself because of the, or you try to sound funny about it, Yeah. Oh, Ed McMahon, Jesus Christ. I hope they never make a robot of you. Then you're probably not going to get the job. Then you have to join the lake of losers, You'll be going in for the interview. You'll see the secretary come up and whisper something into the interviewer's ear, and the interviewer's going to say, I'll tell you what, we need to reschedule this interview. And you know what that means? I think you know what it means. You know what it means. Oh no. You're not getting the job. There it is. You're not getting the job, are you? I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. You should not have farted in the thing, but if you did, and you've been heard and you can't cover your nose, I say make the best of it. Just have a ball with it. Laugh out loud, get all crazy and rambunctious, and or point at the secretary, and go, what did you eat for lunch? Everybody will be confused then. So you can win with confusion. It's a tactic used in the military a lot. You know, a bomb goes off here, you point at the enemy. What are you setting off bombs for? They don't know what to do. That's when you invade. That's when you invade.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yep. We're getting ready to fight in this bitch. Yes. Oh, man. I don't know. Got some new sound effects I loaded up here, and I was trying to have some fun with them. But you know what I'm really thinking right now is pork chops. So this may turn out to be one of the shortest radio shows I've ever done. And maybe I took a cue from Apocalypse, who does 10 and 11-minute shows all the damn time. Now, mine started at 32 and it's 50. This has almost been a half hour. I mean, this would be like 3 of Apocalypse shows right here, with probably 6 times the sound effects, because I don't do math. You know, I think it's awesome. We'll just keep it. I won't put music in or any of that, and there won't be, I'm not going to play my commercial over again. I'll just say goodbye, you know. And so with that, that is that, and here goes this. Goodbye.